On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Yeah, obviously a lot's happened. I did a live show last night right after I found out about Trump and this assassination attempt, and we're reasonably sure that's what this was. Got a lot to cover, a lot of video, a lot of stuff. Try to cover this the best we can, plus some other things that actually happened in the news. I used the term silenced, by the way, on the cover for a couple reasons. One, it was a suppressed weapon, it sounded like. And two, the attacks that have been happening by the left through the media, really the deep state, let's call it, through the media, through certain politicians. There's been a lot of attempts to try to create a sense of anger towards Trump. You know, they say Trump's divisive, but really the divisiveness has come at the attacks against him and his desire to defend himself. Well, he's been attacked very physically now, and it's awakening everybody. This is going to destroy the deep state, and we'll have some people that share their opinions in that regard. Wanted to remind us all of post 572, back in January 21st, not like a Delta or anything, which is cool, but the shot heard around the world, the Great Awakening, a week to remember. Very curious how this week plays out. Trump did say he's definitely going to be going to the Republican National Convention. Is that actually this week? It might be. Just a good reminder and something that has special meaning now. The American flag's a powerful thing, powerful symbol. Certainly our national anthem as well, right? Star-Spangled Banner. It was tattered and torn, but it was still there. Our flag was still there. And that's really that part of us, that the heart of what America is. They can shoot at us. They can attack us. They can call us names. But ultimately, that heart still exists. So, a question to ask people. We've frequently talked about, like some of the stuff that's happening in the Trump cases. How else do you bring something to the public forum, or in some cases, put something in as evidence that needs to be evidence that maybe was top secret, or maybe there was no way to get that information as evidence, right? So sometimes by doing that, like Hunter's laptop, for example, it created this proof, one, that the laptop was true, and now also that laptop's in as evidence and can be used in other cases. It's powerful. So how else do you do that? Well, something else is another type of thing. Say information is hacked. Say it is white hats that do it. How else can you get it to the public? If you hack something and then release it, well, that's one way to get away with it, right? Get around it, skirt the issue. It's technically illegal to hack. You're not supposed to do that. So how else do you possibly release calls and text messages, the actual data around those? That's what these people stole. 130 million AT&T customers. Many, many, many government officials use AT&T phones. It is very common for a lot of people. They stole text messages and voice calls. How else do you get that in the public? See, if they release it as hackers and they want demands, or they're going to release so-and-so's call records, it might just happen that way. Might just happen that way. A lot of things happening in the run-up, as I guess I'm calling it. First off, here was Elon Musk talking to Bill Maher. Just 22 seconds of what Musk is saying, I think, is pretty astute. Check it out.
I really can't emphasize this enough. We must protect free speech. And free speech only matters, it's only relevant when it's someone you don't like saying something you don't like. Because obviously, speech that you like is, that's easy. The thing about censorship is that, sure, for those who would advocate it, just remember, at some point, that will be turned on you.
Always. It's not going to stay the way it is. It's not going to stay the genie in the bottle. We're only going to tax the rich. All that stuff's a bunch of crap. Coming to find out, Meta is removing Trump's account restrictions ahead of the 2024 election. Basically, they're trying to get out in front of the fact that they are going to be considered someone that it would be fighting democracy or trying to hurt the election or election interference. So they're, out of fairness, they're saying they're going to go ahead and let him have access at the platform again. Curious if he actually posts over there. Joe Biden just had his little rally yesterday, and we're going to share something about that rally that's kind of funny and let you make your own decisions, because, of course, that's always the talking point is they go to a Trump rally and they look at some weird part of the event or before people are there and say, see, nobody's here. Nobody shows up for these things. Yeah. We'll see how that plays out with Biden. Probably not well. But here's Biden kind of, tripling, quadrupling down, he's fighting his own party right now, but we've got bigger problems. He's even trying to, maybe what's behind. Who knows? Who knows?
You probably noticed there's been a lot of speculation lately. What's Joe Biden going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? Here's my answer. I am running, and we're going to win.
What's Joe Biden going to do? Now, it looks like it's a big house, by the way, right? Looks like it's a big house. Totally. Packed. What's Joe Biden going to do? He's going to fall down. He's going to poop his pants. He's going to make a gaffe. But that all said, CNN reports that a prominent Democrat had claimed Biden's advisors have threatened White House staffers, saying that they will beat the shit out of anyone who says anything about Biden's health that runs contrary to the narrative. That does sound like something Biden would do. I don't know for sure, but it's CNN that's reporting it, and right now CNN has failed the mark so miserably. We'll get there. Oh, so bad. But yeah, apparently anybody that says anything out of line from the he's great, he's sharp, he's wonderful, they're going to be punished badly. Musk is going to donate to Trump, tapping a vast fortune to swing the 2024 election, at least is what Bloomberg's trying to call it. But billionaire Elon Musk is donating to one of the super PACs. He's obviously putting some of his money where his mouth is. And he even came out and said, I fully endorse President Trump and hope for his rapid recovery. Obviously, Trump being shot. We will get to that. I'm not trying to. It's over here in the yellow section if you want to jump ahead even. Now, there was a statement from Melania Trump, and I just think this once again just illustrates how amazing she is and how just lucky we are to have her as well. Many say she's an extraordinarily spiritual person. I think she is. I don't know. I've never met her, but I have a great respect and great admiration for this family. But Melania Trump said, Dawn is here again. Let us reunite now. This morning, ascend above the hate, the vitriol, and the simple-minded ideas that ignite violence. We all want a world where respect is paramount, family is first, and love transcends. We can realize this world again. Each of us must demand to get it back. We must insist that respect fills the cornerstone of our relationships again. I am thinking of you, my fellow Americans. The winds of change have arrived. For those of you who cry in support, I thank you. I commend those of you who have reached out beyond the political divide. Thank you for remembering that every single politician is a man or a woman with a loving family. Melania Trump saying some extraordinarily beautiful words, in my opinion. Social Security COLA increases for 2025 is going to be lower. They're saying about 2.63%. The problem is now they're claiming they got inflation down to 3%, which means you're losing money if you're a Social Security recipient right now. It's going up 2.63% because that's considered the actual raise in GDP. I believe that's what they base that COLA cost off of. So our economy is growing slower than the inflation. This is what many would call stagflation. Not quite fully stagnant economy, but one that's definitely slowing and will need some help from our good friend with ear scars coming up in the near future. So this is not good news for a lot of people. For those of you that are still invested into their system, I highly recommend on getting out. Many people were trying to say this was the Black Swan event, Trump being assassinated. Black Swan events are supposed to be, they're supposed to be economic in nature. Since Trump did not die, my guess is the stock market's not going to kind of react in a weird way, though I will be curious how it does react, considering the deep state's behind a lot of those numbers as it stands. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. If you have a 401k or an IRA and you're in their system and their stocks on tagged to our crap Federal Reserve dollar, yeah, you don't want to anymore. Gold's actually outperformed money, stocks, all that stuff majorly. Its buying power has actually grown. It and Bitcoin are really two of the only major assets that are actually moving in the positive direction. All the other assets, you're losing your buying power every single day. I use the example frequently. A house is the same bill of goods. The house 10 years ago cost whatever it cost. Think of what the house costs right now. Many say it's just gone up in value. No, it hasn't gone up in value. It's the exact same box of goods. It just costs more. That's inflation, and that's how bad it actually is. The housing market's the easiest place to see it. And again, buying power has gone down significantly in the housing market, and we have not recovered from, I believe it was 2006. So we are in tough times. Gold is doing amazingly well. Get into a precious metals IRA. You can transfer out tax-free and penalty-free out of their system into a system that right now is performing incredibly well. Everybody that's gotten in is loving it big time. And with the crazy that's still expected to come, you're definitely going to be grateful you got out and got out now. Go to drslikesgold.com. Go there right now. Fill out the 4 data points. Get this ball rolling. We don't know how much time. We don't know what other crazy stuff they're going to try to do, but we know they're going to try to do more stuff. Also, if you're sitting on a bunch of cash, we're not 100% sure how that's going to behave, but inflation's taking a bite out of that every day. Buy some precious metals from my same good friends. They've got so many different suppliers, and they've actually got a lot of crazy different metals, too, if you want to kind of play around. But if you want to just make a good swap for dollars for something that's going to go up in value, that you're going to be able to buy Treasury Reserve notes or whatever in the time coming, then buy some gold. That's what you want to do. You want to get out of the dollar and buy some gold. I'm not saying all of it. You got to save some cash for the bills and everything else. But if you're sitting on a pretty hefty bank account, you might want to consider diversifying, and you might actually get up to $8,000 of free silver by divesting some of your savings. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. This crazy world, I don't know how much longer we can hold it together before things really start to shake apart. Make sure you're out in front of that. You don't want to be behind the curve on that. You don't want to wake up one morning and realize you just lost 20% of your portfolio. Get out before then, because you'll actually gain on your portfolio when everybody else is crying. drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. All right, we got some FJBs to get into, and then we've got a lot with Trump. That Trump thing, when I expand that up, you're going to be like, holy crap, yes, there's a bunch. Donald Trump trooped this out. Obama and Biden hate each other. Obama never respected Biden, thought he was dumb, and a total lightweight. Will be an interesting couple of weeks. Obama wants him out, wants VP Harris in. And now they've shot Trump post this. That happened a few hours later, in fact. Democrats said that Biden had huge crowds in Detroit. Remember when I told you that I'd show you in a second what those crowds actually looked like? Well, they were looking at somebody that was chanting some Free Palestine crap, but because they spun the camera around, well, they gave us a really good view into the bigger picture. Check this out.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! We working on it! We working on it!
Yeah, that is a basketball gymnasium. Doesn't look that full. I don't know what's to the right of this image. Like if they would have kept spinning, it seems like they don't ever look behind themselves, if you will. Maybe there's nothing there. Maybe they're kind of on the edge. I don't know. It doesn't look like, I don't know. Not a lot of people, though. That's for sure, right? However you want to slice and dice that. Doesn't look like there's a lot going on there. Joe Biden's, the House Oversight Chair, James Comer, is actually looking into the possibility of a shadow government. Right now, they're concerned that Biden's not actually running the show, and because of that, he wants to figure out what's going on, who's actually calling the shots. So we've already heard they're calling them 3 key people. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, this week is going to be a little more concerned because of other things, and maybe that's what this was supposed to be, was a major distraction, though I think they were hoping to kill Trump. Didn't work. And there's a lot of people that know why. And I don't mean like he bionically, he didn't go Neo in the Matrix on us, but he actually, I think God was definitely helping. Some were saying there was the Jumbotron, and because of that, there were some numbers he was about to pull up, and because of that, he sort of moved his head at the exact second the shot was done, and because of that, it hit his ear. Likely would have hit him square in the melon. Now, it is very interesting that we know who the shooter is, by the way. He's dead, of course. Young man anyways. There's some spec around that. We'll get to that as well. Sean Davis starting off right here. Breaking. A source familiar with Trump's security detail tells the at Federal LST that former and future presidents' details have been asking for beefed up protection and resources for weeks, but has been rebuffed time and again by Biden's DHS. DHS, which oversees Secret Service protection detail, wasn't responsive to those requests for more resources, the source said. Was Biden's regime behind the attack, or did it deliberately do everything it could to allow it to happen? A lot of people are wondering, This doesn't play out very well. Director Kimberly A. Cheadle, she is the Secret Service person in charge of the Secret Service. Now, what's funny is her prior work before becoming the director of the Secret Service is she ran global security at PepsiCo. Yeah, global security at a soda factory, or somebody put it in here, guarding Cheez-Its or Cheetos. That's what she did before. And now she's in charge of protecting the president. Obviously, Biden should be concerned for that matter as well, because he's got that same protection. We're going to get to Dan Bongino. He's got a lot to say about this, and he was former Secret Service, so he's definitely worth listening to. I want to repeat, and this is Dan Bongino saying this, I want to repeat and can absolutely confirm the USSS Director Kim Cheadle has repeatedly turned down requests for a larger security footprint around Donald Trump, despite knowing the threat level is catastrophic. Resign tonight. We'll see where that goes. Also important to point out, DHS panel focused on perceived terror threats from pro-Trump religious Americans. This is what Biden's DHS is worried about. Pro-Trump religious Americans. That's not who was involved in this, though they try to spin it that way, as always. Biden threats to put Trump in the bullseye. Remember we talked about this? It was last week. His threat to put Trump in the bullseye met with shrugs, but when Palin said something about putting somebody in the crosshairs, well, everybody freaked out. But here we are, less than a week later, and Trump is shot at like he was in the bullseye or something. What's funny is Joe Biden posted this exact post last week, and he's deleted it recently. But his post was, I have one job, and that's to beat Donald Trump. I'm absolutely certain I'm the best person to be able to do that. So we're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye. It's now been deleted. Why? Because it doesn't play well after the person gets shot. Literally, not shot at, shot. We're lucky it barely hit him. Here is the scene. Here is it happening. And unfortunately, the gentleman that's behind him, and I don't think we can see him in this picture. I would assume he's like right behind Trump. He's the one that got hit, and he did not survive. He is definitely one of the people. One person died for sure. There's two in critical condition. The guy went and shot 5 more shots. Trump dropped down behind this barrier, which was likely armored. But needless to say, here is the attack that happened against Trump.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Move it there. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. Ready. We ready?
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking on the stage.
Yeah, speaking on the stage and got shot. Pretty horrific. And we've got all sorts to talk about. Very powerful image that's floating around right now. Very powerful image. Like the way the sunlight catches it, right? Like there's just miraculous moments. Thank God he's okay. But there's miraculous moments that it's odd how we managed to catch them. But here's an incredible image. Incredible image. Here is Trump pumping his fist, which we'll get to in a moment. CNN had a huge problem with. CNN's done. They're, again, a lot of people. This is so powerful. But here's Trump supposedly saying, fight, fight, fight. I was seeing the F word is what I thought he was saying. Maybe that's just because that's what I wanted to hear. I don't know. But he does, fight is definitely could be what he was saying. All said, here is when they basically scooped him out and his gestures and everything he did.
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking on the stage. There has been some kind of disturbance that clearly sets law enforcement. He is holding up his arm. He is pumping President Trump. This does not look good. I'm going to be honest with you, from what we can see right here, it looks like they are attempting to move him out, that he may have been injured. He is holding up his arm. He is pumping his fist, but clearly Secret Service wants to get him out of this situation. He is attempting to stand and walk on his own. He has got his hand pumping in the air. His fist is pumping in the air, but quickly they are removing him from the stage. This is happening very quickly. We are trying to ascertain what happened, but quickly we do know that immediately Secret Service was on him, jumping to protect him. Let's go to Alexis McAdams. She is there actually at the rally as President Trump is waving his fist, but looks...
Secret Service is so like, dude, stop putting your head up. That was driving them insane. You know it was. Driving them insane. But that's what happened. So here is another angle of the Secret Service that were perched on top of this rooftop that ended up shooting the shooter, or at least identified him. There is talk and there is discussions, we'll get there, of people that were trying to tell cops about the dude walking on the roof, scooching on the roof. He was bear crawling. All said, here is the Secret Service possibly taking the shot, or if not, it was right before that shot happened that took out the shooter. But this is some more footage.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Like, you notice the dude, he's like up and then he's down, like, you know what I mean? Like, it looks like he spotted him and then went down to the scope to try to sight on him. But the shots are already happening. He'd already taken a number of shots. Very interesting, by the way, how many shots he seemed to have been able to get off before, I think, the fatal round that took him out. So Tucker Carlson shared this infamous photo. This is a photo that will, I mean, if it doesn't end on T-shirts everywhere, like, this is the photo to download. This is the photo to use. This memorializes everything about what's magical about Trump. Now, what's funny is I think it was the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or one of them shit papers, but they shared this image, but they photoshopped the American flag out of it. Think about that for a second. Think about that. They don't want to associate Trump with the American flag. They don't want this powerful image being out there. It's incredible. Trump shooter is down. Secret Service agents heard screaming moments after the shots fired at former presidents at the Pennsylvania rally. They got him. Here is the image, supposedly, of him on the rooftop, dead skis, I believe.
Lá em cima, né? Aqui, ó. We can see the guy there. I think they hit him because the guy he looks dead.
Yeah, he's not moving. And supposedly they crawled up and verified that the shooter had been taken down. That was the building from where the shots were happening. Now, obviously, a lot of concerns are around how the hell that happened. We'll get there. There's more discussions to be had there. Here is an ER doctor that actually helped the individual. It's going to be a little graphic. They don't show anything graphic. They kind of talk about the shooter. The guy, I'm sorry, it was the guy that was behind Trump that was in the audience that apparently got hit. And this guy he's an ER doctor, happened to be there, and he was helping him. And you can see he's got blood all over himself.
That's exactly where I heard him come from.
What did you see, sir?
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, he's been shot, he's been shot. So I made my way over. I said, I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you. The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There was lots of blood, and he had brain matter there. Oh, no. And so I got him. There's a helicopter coming in to get him. I got people there really helpful. I got
was
him
there only
up
one
on the
person
bench.
shot that you saw?
Then I did CPR, did chest compressions as well as I breathed for him.
One person.
I was the only one that did it.
We need to evacuate everybody.
Yeah, he was the only one that tried to help that guy out, and unfortunately it wasn't good enough. Here's them kind of carrying him out. Very sad.
Figure out if you're okay, what's going on, was he shot, was he wounded? Then we heard him on the microphone, Shannon, saying, let me grab my shoes as they tried to take him off. So we're just trying to figure out what happened.
Horrific, horrific events. This is the gentleman that got killed. Trump rally attendee killed in the shooting, identified as Corey Comparatore, maybe? Comparator? Not sure. Very sad. My heart goes out to him and his family, and certainly the others that were injured, and certainly Trump's family, and all of America right now that is having a hard time with this, you know? United States Secret Service press statement. This happened July 13th, yesterday. During former President Trump's campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on the evening of July 13th at approximately 6:15 p.m., a suspected shooter fired multiple shots towards the stage from an elevated position outside the rally venue. U.S. Secret Service personnel neutralized the shooter, who is now deceased. U.S. Secret Service quickly responded with protective measures, and the former president is safe and being evaluated. One spectator was killed. 2 spectators were critically injured. The incident is currently under investigation, and the Secret Service has formally notified the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Donald Trump truthed this out after. I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all of law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. We actually know now, but they didn't then. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong, in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized that what was happening. God bless America. Thank God he didn't get hurt more, like literally just an inch would have blown out half his face. Bo Snerdley posted this in regards to Rep. Stephen Woodrow. He's the running in Colorado for Senate or Congress, I believe it is. He posted, and I think he's gotten rid of it, has recently deleted the entire social media account for that matter, hoping that no one ever finds it. But unfortunately, we got images. Rep. Stephen Woodrow posted, the last thing America needed was sympathy for the devil, but here we are. Both Snerdley saying he has since deleted the social media account. That's insane. CNN Politics posted this. Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after he falls at rally. After he falls. This is what CNN posted. Good job, CNN. Well done. Well done indeed. You guys are top notch. USA Today posted this title. Trump removed from stage by Secret Service after loud noises startles former president and the crowd. NPR. Trump is fine after apparent gunshots fired at his rally. Politico. Photo of bloodied Trump fist pumping immediately spotlighted by his allies. Yeah. NBC News. Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after popping noises heard at Pennsylvania rally. Who do you think's behind this? The deep state. When all of the deep state apparatuses are saying things like this, these are the same people that gaslight Americans into attacking each other. Same people. NBC conspiracy theories about the Trump rally shooting flourish online. With few details released about the incident and its immediate aftermath, the false and misleading claims have spread quickly. You mean the stuff that ends up being true as of now? We were pretty right yesterday. Here's a man that's extraordinarily angry at who he should be.
You remember what you call this is your fault. You. This is your fault. Every last one. This is your fault. It is your fault. This is your fault. You. This is your fault.
You see how dangerous that right-leaning, crazy American was as the cops are like, hey, calm down. He's like, oh, all right. And he's just immediately starts doing what you're supposed to. Still screaming, but that's how you're supposed to do it. So a now deleted Facebook post by a staffer of Mississippi's lone Democrat congressman appeared to support the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump on Saturday. You certainly can be the judge of it. It's been deleted. The deleted post was by Jacqueline Marsaw, a field director for U.S. Rep. Benny Thompson. He's the Democrat in Mississippi, said, quote, I don't condone violence, but please get you some shooting lessons so you don't miss next time. Oops, that wasn't me talking. Who's Benny Thompson? Well, Benny Thompson posted this, and then he got fact-checked by the readers. Benny Thompson posted, "There is no room in American democracy for political violence. I am grateful for law enforcement's fast response to this incident. I'm glad the former president is safe, and my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone involved." I don't know why I'm making him sound like that. He would sound nothing like the voice I just made. Whatever. Readers added context. Benny Thompson proposed legislation that would authorize the removal of Secret Service protection from former president upon sentencing following conviction of a federal or state offense that is punishable for terms of imprisonment of at least 1 year. Benny Thompson was leading the charge to remove Trump's Secret Service protection. Oh, but now all of a sudden he's heartfelt and stuff. Here's CNN being pissed off that Trump was pumping his fist, like basically saying, look, guys, you guys are a bunch of jerkholes. F you. Fight, fight, fight. And that's what they're saying, that he's causing the problem. That he, the dude that just got shot, is causing the problems. That his behavior after, they don't say unpresidential, but think about it. You know, it's so unpresidential of someone to get shot and then like behave this way. Really? Have you ever been shot, you fucking piece of shit? I haven't. I've had a gun stuck to my head. That's as close to that as I've come. But I've never been shot, thank God. Knock on glass. So this is CNN explaining to us why we should be upset at Trump.
I do want to say there was one thing that when I watched the tape, I found odd because of all of the heated rhetoric. And that is that after he was hit, former President Trump got up and said, fight, fight, fight. I think what we're hearing from people is that's not the message that we want to be sending right now. We want to tamp it down.
Yeah, I would just know one thing on this, kind of to that point.
You just shot him, deep state. Now you want him to tamp it down? Hey, dude that just got shot and survived, can you bring it down a notch over there? Sorry, man, I'm trying to watch something and you're fucking it up for me. Are you shitting me, CNN? You guys, man, I was literally making points for you guys for a while. Man, you just derailed your entire CNN train. Done. Well done, CNN. You seriously just stepped in it. Oh, it's impressive. I mean, I didn't even think it was possible. Someone apparently spoke with former Attorney General Bill Barr, who tells me, quote unquote, this is Brooks Sigmund, I guess, quote, the Democrats have to stop their grossly irresponsible talk about Trump being an existential threat to democracy. He is not. 100% right. Here is, which fighter is this? UFC fighter Evan Elder has something to say about them trying to take down his boy.
Hey, I heard they just tried to whack my boy Trump. I'm glad that man's okay. Long live Trump. Let's go, baby. Trump 2024.
Denver, let's hear it for Evan Elder.
Yeah, Trump is beyond fame now. He's actually infamous, I think, at this point. Barack Obama, everyone and their mother came out. Kamala Harris, the Bidens, everyone and their mother came out, Hillary Clinton, and talked about how this is horrible, like they trying to say it was abhorrence, right? The violence shouldn't happen. Barack Obama, there's absolutely no place for political violence in our democracy. Although we don't yet know exactly what happened, we should all be relieved that former President Trump wasn't seriously hurt and use this moment to recommit ourselves to civility and respect in our politics. Michael and I are wishing him a quick recovery. Senator Marsha Blackburn put this out, though, and these, by the way, are time-stamped very close to each other. Obama put this out at, 6:44 p.m., 6:47 p.m., Marsha Blackburn comes out. It's been over an hour since there was an assassination attempt on President Trump. Still no statement from Biden. Unacceptable. Go to the Oval Office and address the American people. We do not settle our differences by violence. We try to submit people into lawfare and see if we can crush them like that normally. Bill Lugan put this out from apparently President Biden, his initial statement that came at 6:54. So still quite a little ways, number of minutes past Marsha Blackburn lambasting him. But here's the statement from the Bidens. I have been briefed on the shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. I am grateful to hear that he is safe and doing well. I am praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we await further information. Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety. There's no place for this kind of violence in America. We must unite as one nation to condemn it. Then stop calling us all those MAGA people and shit like that, Joe. Here's Joe Biden saying, well, here.
President, do you think this was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Somebody tried to shoot somebody who's a political dude for president and was a former president. That's pretty solid evidence of someone trying to assassinate somebody, right? We would have known the dude's middle name had he actually accomplished what he did. If you guys have ever seen the movie with Mel Gibson, Conspiracy Theory, excellent, right? You probably know what I'm talking about. For those that haven't, I'll highly recommend it. Some, I don't know, Julia Roberts, it's like in the 90s or some shit like that. Great movie, though. Great movie. And talks about where we're at. Here's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu talking about, well, what happened. This is pretty cool.
Like all Israelis, my wife Sarah and I were shocked by the horrific assassination attempt on the life of President Donald Trump. This wasn't just an attack on Donald Trump. This was an attack on a candidate for the presidency of the United States. This was an attack on America. It was an attack on democracy. It was an attack on all the democracies. On behalf of myself, my family, the government and people of Israel, we wish President Trump a speedy recovery, continued good health, and continued strength.
Yeah, that's just class act. Class act right there. Suspected shooter had explosive devices in his car, sources said. Fox News was reporting it. Well, as it turned out, he did. Authorities found explosive devices in the car of the man who officials say tried to assassinate former President Donald Trump, according to people briefed on the investigation. The car, which was driven by Thomas Matthew Crooks, we'll get there, was parked near the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, supposedly like 0.7 of a mile, someone said, which is kind of like oddly specific. I don't know if that was attempt at 17, maybe, but whatever, because it would be. The zeros doesn't count. Anywho, 0.7 of a mile supposedly is where this was. Which would be an interesting MK Ultra kind of move. They literally would do something like that too, because that's the symbology, and they want to leave symbology. They want everybody that knows what the shit they're doing to know who this was. There's no doubt who was behind this. And when I say who, I mean the deep state. Now, who exactly that is? To assume it's Biden is ridiculous. To assume it's even Obama, he's certainly someone that's got someone else's hand shoved up his ass, and he probably likes it more than most, but he's actually not really in charge either. Now, these people are working for someone else. That's who the deep state is. These guys are just puppets. They're just puppets at high levels, that's all. Fox News host Lawrence Jones just spoke about with President Trump. This is that black gentleman. He had some really good stuff to say. I feel like that's a shit way to say it, but for those that don't know who he is, and I guess I didn't need to say it because you'd figure it out right now, so whatever.
Guys, I just finished talking to the former president. You would think that he would be down. I mean, he's in the saddle. He's excited. And I said, is there anything that I could, share with the audience? And he paused for a second and he said, can you just tell him I love him? Just tell him I love him. And I appreciate them. And he said, did you see the people in the audience? Typically when shots are fired, there would be a stampede. But he said, did you hear them stand firm with me, stand firm with the country? And this is a president that wanted to let everyone know, let the world know that he's resilient. I mean, we talk all the time about what leaders do behind closed doors when tragedy happens and when they've not even met with gunfire. Most presidents aren't met with gunfire. We saw how he responds when gunfire is there. And I don't think that should be lost on us. But in a moment where he could be focused on himself, he just wanted me to let everyone know that he loves them. He loves them.
And Trump, I mean, you don't have to, but I'm just going to say you can have this. I'm giving you this joke. It's your joke. You can have it. You can use it. I think you'll get a lot of mileage out of it. And you don't have to give me any credit. That's fine. That would be weird, right? But if you want to, that'd be great. You could do something. All said, what he could say when he's up in front of his rallies and stuff, be like, you know, it's funny. When I was younger, I actually thought about getting my ear pierced. Didn't think of doing it like this, or, you know, something to that effect. I guess maybe this counts, or, right? Like, he has a few different directions he can go with it. But I think it's a funny angle, and I think he could run with it. So good job, Lawrence. Well said. And here is new information. Authorities believe they have the identification of the suspect. We already kind of talked about what his name is, so yeah, this is not important. They're calling him a lone wolf. Maybe. I mean, that's common with MKUltra stuff. Very good shot, though. That's what's a trip. Needless to say, this was last night. Trump coming home after some could say a long day. Huh. You know, what'd you do today? Well, I did a rally, and I did a bunch of posts, and did a whole bunch, talked to a bunch of people. And, oh, yeah, I got shot, too. I forgot about that. I got shot, and then I went home and did it all again. Now, let's be honest, he seems a little slower than normal. I don't know, I guess getting shot takes it out of you a little bit. I'm not gonna hold that against the man, and I hope you guys know I'm just joking, because I'm very uncomfortable with the fact that my president got shot. This should hopefully make some of you guys feel a little better, though. People searched register to vote has exponentially spiked after Trump's assassination attempt. Huge spike in register to vote, much like when he went to jail. I think that's probably this spike. When they convicted him, looks like it was pretty close to that time. Here we are today. This gentleman says it straight. He's going to use some cuss words, but I've already said a bunch already, so I guess I don't need to warn you too much. But this gentleman says it right, says it beautifully. I love it. He's got to get shared.
Hey, I would like to thank the powers who thought that would be a great idea to try to harm President Trump. We'd like to thank you for the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And boy, are the numbers gonna be earth-shattering. Democrats are done. You fuckers are never gonna be in power again. Your great-great-great-great-grandchildren ain't gonna fucking be in power. Peace!
He's right. I mean, this is just gonna work so poorly against them. And oddly, which is also gonna hurt the bigger picture, but he kind of has to, Biden campaign's, quote, suspending all outbound communications, including TV ads, after Trump assassination attempt. They can't really badmouth him a whole bunch right now because literally someone's attacked him. And if they continued doing that kind of behavior, it would look suspicious, wouldn't it? Yeah, not good. So some of the things that came from after. Jack Posobiec put this out. The head of the Secret Service is Secretary of State Mayorkas, and Elon Musk says he ought to be in jail. Damn straight. MSNBC put this out. The shooting at the stage at the Trump rally occurred outside of the Secret Service security perimeter of the event, per 3 senior U.S. law enforcement officials to NBC News. Now, there's a lot of disbelief around this. Now, we'll get to what it might likely be, but someone, Captain Keschel, shared this. Said, when I was deployed in Afghanistan, I often prepared and or briefed air crews on deliberate air assault, infill, exfil, when a bunch of Special Force troops jump out of a Chinook and Black Hawk under the dominant eye of the Apache Overwatch. We were just a battalion-sized element, but we analyzed soil type, illumination, slope of the ground obtained by UAS, structures, personnel, enemy weapon systems, weather, disturbed ground, heat variance of the landing zone, all the way down to where the top target would be taking a dump when we dropped in to send them to the underworld. No one higher than Lieutenant Colonel would be involved. Do you mean to tell me the Secret Service didn't check for elevated structures within clear sight for a small arms weapons system in a service of the president? Are you shitting me? And one would have to wonder. It seems like maybe they did foul up, or like Catherine Herridge is suggesting, and maybe this is closer to the truth. Maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say. I mean, you'd think Secret Service should have had this covered. But Catherine Herridge says, as focus shifts to after-action investigation, the security seams where local law enforcement ends and Secret Service begins. That's what you mean by a seam, right? A seam like an dress or a pair of pants or something where you bring in 2 pieces of material together. Well, where that seam is, it seems this might have been it's likely where this occurred, where this rooftop was. Now, obviously, there were snipers that were looking right at it, but it seemed like the dude was able to shimmy across that roof enough, and even had some warnings thrown that never seemed to make it anywhere. But this is kind of some of the crap that's being discussed right now. Here's a gentleman talking about how he was a witness, how he did try to get the cops to understand this was happening, and it was too late. They didn't matter, didn't make a difference.
Gentleman who was along the fence line, I'm just meeting him right now. Sir, thank you so much. You're talking to KDKA. Can I have your name and what did you see and hear?
This is Ben Macer. I was at the same point that probably the witness you were talking to earlier. I was up at the fence line, saw the guy move from roof to roof, told an officer that he was on the roof. The officer come looking, I went back to where I was looking, heard that there was somebody that could see the person, so I went back to where they were standing, saw the person, went back and told the officer again that if he goes back to that particular spot, he can see the person, figuring that he would go on radio. And when I turned around to go back to where I was is when the gunshots started, and then it was just chaos, and we all came running away, and that was that.
Let me get this right. So you actually saw the man on top of the roof behind us?
Yes.
And you're saying people reported that to law enforcement, saying there is a man on the roof of the building?
Yes, there were two officers that were actively searching. You could tell they were searching and looking for somebody, and we just tried to help and tell them where the guy was. And at some point, somebody obviously found him, or the snipers found him, and that was the end of his decisions.
Did you get a good look at the guy on the roof?
I did not have a good look at him, but I just seen him going from one building to another. There was a little gap in between, and he went. And when I went back to see the people that I heard that could see him, seen a quick look at him there, and then went to the officer to tell the officer, and that was all that I got.
How many gunshots did you hear?
I have no idea. It was, at first I didn't know what I heard, and then once it became clear what I heard, that it was just getting out of there, and I helped a lady that had a 4-year-old kid, helped them get out, and that was it. We were done, and everybody went home. And
You're obviously shaken up right now, just talking to me.
A little bit. It's not every day that you're that close to anything like that.
How far do you think that shooter was from the stage of where the former president was speaking?
Probably 200, 250 yards.
Was it parallel to where the president was, where he was?
I could not see the president, so I'm not 100% sure, but it was definitely close to parallel.
What are your questions right now, just in light of this happening?
I don't have questions. I'm just, curious like anybody else, and just seeing what all is still going on. I live close to here, so I'm just taking it all in and seeing what's going on.
AKA, I'm in shock. Craziness. Here's Dan Bongino talking about it. Again, he was Secret Service, so his thoughts and feelings on it are pretty important and I think relevant as well. Check it out.
That the bunting around the front of the stage is probably armor. Donald Trump knew to duck. I mean, most people would. He saved his own life. That's just a fact. The evacuation did not go right. I mean, the rule with the Secret Service is cover the protectee and evacuate. The other rule is maximum to the protectee, minimum to the problem. Why minimum to the problem? Because you don't know that's the only problem. It could be a distraction. There could be another person in the crowd. So if you don't jump on the protectee, you could be looking at multiple shooters. So at least that part, the guys there, stepped up there. But the failure here is absolutely catastrophic. And I got to tell you, the Secret Service should be very careful. I can tell you and absolutely confirm from the horse's mouth, from multiple people, not just one. And I saw Congressman Waltz text this out before on X. there have been repeated requests to increase the security footprint around not just the residences of Donald Trump, but the body itself. And they have been rebuffed. Like I said, I can tell you actual quotes. The Secret Service directors completely failed and candidly should resign today. Kim Cheadle has failed Donald Trump and honestly failed Joe Biden too. He's the president right now. Where's the DHS secretary? I mean, this is, you're blaming it on manpower? So just to be clear, we're a $4 trillion United States government and we can't fork over enough money to keep our people alive? And then you're sending out tweets like, oh, this is the best technology we have. Really? To let a sniper 150 yards away from the potential next president shoot a piece of his ear off? Pfft, that's your victory lap? Give me a break, man.
Dan, I mean, you bring up so many amazing points, and I just don't even know where to begin except to ask you, why would the Secret Service not beef up more security for the man who is most likely to be assassinated in the entire world? Why would they not deploy more resources? Why weren't there drones over? Is it that this woman, Kimberly Cheadle, the director, is incompetent? Could there be something else there? What is happening? Is it DEI? What's going on?
Well, you know, Rachel, it's my job, if I'm going to give an opinion, to back it up. You know, opinions are like holes, right? Everybody has one. The difference between one opinion over the other in a courtroom and anywhere else is, can you back it up? I want everyone at home, go on your phone or computer now, and I want you to look up U.S. Secret Service, red ties, Donald Trump. Yeah, read it. The Secret Service was more concerned about protective agents around Donald Trump. If you think I'm making this up, go to a left-wing search engine if you think I'm biased. Go to Scroogle and put it, oh, you're reading a story right now. They were more concerned about the color of the Secret Service agents' ties around Donald Trump, given the perception that a red tie was somehow, I've got red ties. I'm a Republican. It has nothing to do with it. I just like red ties. They go nice with white shirts. That's an actual, oh, you see it right now. I'm not crazy. This is what the Secret Service was concerned about. They put out, 1,000 tweets about all of this DEI stuff. Do I know that's related here? I don't. I'm just saying, like, you have one job and only one job. Your job is keep the body alive, no matter what. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, the president of Djibouti, it doesn't matter. That is your job. They absolutely, resolutely, 100% failed. Not a single excuse should be made. Not a single excuse should be attempted. This should be the subject of congressional hearings and investigations, because if they can't do this, and this is the best technology you had, then folks, there's no purpose anymore. This isn't the agency I grew up in. It's not. I spent 12 years of my life there, and I'm telling you, I know some of those guys personally. These are good men and women. But this was an apocalyptic security failure. And don't ever forget, an uneventful failure is never a success. And the fact that Donald Trump didn't die yesterday is no reason for anybody to take some kind of victory lap. And before we start sending out plaudits, we better look and do a hot wash on this and find out exactly how abysmal this security plan was.
Well, uniquely, because you also have unique experience, uniquely, you've been able to tell us today that the failure is on both the ground level and the immediate reaction, the advanced level, and seeing what could potentially be the problem, and at the organizational level in what kind of resources were given to Donald Trump over time. And as we said, you have the experience to know. Dan Bongino, thanks so much for.
Yeah, he definitely does. Definitely has the experience to know. James Comer's looking into it. He's going to have Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle going to come and testify on July 22nd. We'll see what that gets us. What we know about the shooter at this point. FBI, like we said, identified it as Thomas Matthew Crooks. Apparently there was some numbnut that was misidentified on Twitter as the individual from an image, and then he started playing it up like it was actually him. All said it wasn't. Matthew Crooks is. He's from Bethel Park. Still remains an active investigation, of course. Come to find out, he is, quote, registered as a Republican, but he did donate to Act Blue back when Biden was inaugurated, essentially. So he did that. $15. Again, it's one of those funny little things. It's almost like an MK Ultra calling card, I think. What's also interesting, we come to find out that the individual got a weapon from his father. His father apparently bought this weapon just 6 months ago. And so some are speculating within 6 months' time they were able to turn this guy into a shooter or something. That's interesting because, yeah, it's just pretty quick to suddenly become that accurate. Some people are also wondering if maybe there were some additional shooters. Don't know. Again, there's going to be a lot of time to look into all this. We'll see how that plays out in the big picture. Want to remind you guys to check out petclub247.com. They're awesome. If you go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com, you're actually going to be helping the channel out in a huge way. You're going to get yourself a discount, and it gives you an opportunity to pick up some products that are healthy, I should say, for your dogs, for your cats, even horses, believe it or not. They've got some great products. They've got the mush puppies, which are treats, and they've got versions for cats as well. These have this mushroom called Coriolus versicolor, and this actually has basically cancer-causing or cancer-reducing elements to it. There's all sorts of studies. There's over 400 studies. They've got a research tab on this Pet Club 247. If you go to, again, danradiostyle.petclub247.com. These mushrooms have a healing effect. They've seen it in people. They've seen it in animals. Not all mushrooms are good for animals. These particular ones are very good for dogs and cats. And again, a lot of the things like the gummy vitamins, you don't taste it and stuff. Like, it's pretty good. It's fantastic products, and you know you're getting that in your body, which is helping. I've been taking it for me for a while now. One, I've been noticing my dreams more, which is something that's kind of a trip. But two, I do it because I smoked for 21 years. I'm just figuring probably a good idea. Just make sure. And it's a healthy thing. It's a supplement anyways, but it has all sorts of research to demonstrate the healing properties. They've also got other food that is chemical-free. It's not made in China. They've got toys that are not made in China, not chemical-free, and are actually healthy for your animals. As they grind them down, they're actually getting minerals in their bodies. It's healthy. These guys are all about health, and they're not super expensive. Mush puppies, they got the Mojos, another kind of treat. They've got dried food. They've got super sauce that you can put on top of the dry food. If you've got a really good dry food you're already using that your dog loves, you can put some of this super sauce on top of that. You know your dog's going to like it even more, and that's going to get those mushrooms inside of them. They've got more dry food. They've got canned food. They've got dog biscuits. They've even got the mutt mints. If you got that dog with some nasty breath and its gum health isn't really good, this also helps. And it's not just because it's in its mouth, but you're getting those mushrooms in its system, and there is all sorts of benefits that come. They've got food for cats. They've got horse food, and they've got human products. They've even got a coffee that doesn't have all the toxins in it. Pet Club 247 is an amazing company that is doing everything they can to keep you alive longer, but most importantly, to keep those little furry friends with us longer. They don't live long enough. That's the hardest thing about the last dog I had. I had to put her down. It was the hardest thing I ever did. I hate it. I hate it. I don't want to get another dog, so I don't want to go through that again. This at least is going to get you some more time with those furry friends. Go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. One other thing I kind of want to point out to you guys as well, and it's pretty cool. And if you're, somebody that wants to if you feel like maybe you've got a pets, or you got a bunch of pets, or you've got a friend that you buy some of this stuff for, if you're buying over $150 a month worth of stuff, there's this 2 different programs you can get into where you can just be a brand advocate. And what happens is you pay a monthly fee for the website that you're involved with. That essentially gets you a 10% discount. You can do that on the page up where I just said you go to rewards tab. And then there's another one. It's called Earn Rewards as a brand influencer. And this is if you know a bunch of people that you can sell this to. And you can come in. Now, the difference is you actually make commission over on this guy, and all you really have to do that's kind of different from over here. Over here, you got to pay $15 a month. Over here, you got to pay $15 a month, and you've also got to do this initial kit. I think there's 3 different choices, and they're different price levels. They don't matter what they are. It's just 3 different levels. You get a lot of really cool products, and you can try it out and start it up. But there's a couple cool rewards programs that go on. They've also got reviews in there where people are talking about what's happened and how their animals have benefited from this, and the research. Over 400 studies. Go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Do the best thing you can to try to keep those pets alive as long as you can. Because, folks, that's the thing. Life's too short. We've got these precious moments. Ivanka Trump posted this. 2 years ago today, my mom passed away. I believe she was watching over Dad last night during the attempt on his life. I miss her every day and pray for the safety of the family and friends she left behind. Beautiful words. Donald Trump truthed this out. Thank you to everyone for your thoughts and prayers yesterday, as it was God alone who prevented the unthinkable from happening. We will fear not, but instead remain resilient in our faith and defiant in the face of wickedness. Our love goes out to the other victims and their families. We pray for the recovery of those who were wounded and hold in our hearts the memory of the citizens who was so horribly killed. In this moment, it is more important than ever that we stand together united and show our true character as Americans, remaining strong and determined and not allowing evil to win. I truly love our country and love you all, and look forward to speaking to our great nation this week from Wisconsin. Sounds like it's going to take a couple days to try to maybe heal up a little. I and Miles Chong put this out. Please, please triple your protection. If they can come for Trump, they will also come for you, at Elon Musk. And Elon Musk responded, dangerous times ahead. 2 people, separate occasions, have already tried to kill me in the past 8 months. They were arrested with guns about 20 minutes drive from the Tesla headquarters in Texas. So, yeah, a lot of people are having to deal with these fears and these concerns. World stuff going on. Russia initiated calls with the Pentagon after NATO offered Ukraine a reversible membership path. Russia's basically saying, you guys are just being dicks everywhere across the board. Like, what is going on? You cannot and will not, and there's no way in hell Ukraine becomes a member of NATO, period. End of story. No. And so they went and talked to Lloyd Austin, because again, the deep state is screwed, and they don't know how to get out of this. They're trying to start a war, but nobody wants to let them. Viktor Orban being one of those prime people, he's also in charge of the military parliament or something, not the military parliament, even some factor of that, whatever. Orban's going global as a self-styled peacemaker. They actually tell him what he is. I can't remember the stupid, crazy thing they do. Hungary, he's right-wing, yeah, he's just the prime minister. Yeah, whatever. Can't remember the name of the thing he is. It's part of the European Union in its own way. He's like president of some aspect of it. I think it's the war side of it. I don't know, whatever. Bricks on the X-Reporter said Zelensky says that Russia plans to use tactical nuclear weapons. Russian foreign minister says many things. Depends on what he drinks or what he smokes. Yeah, he's just making shit up. Everybody knows that. U.S. British warplanes launched heavy retaliatory attacks on Yemen. This kind of struck me as surprising because, frankly, I hadn't heard a lot about it. And there's been quite a bunch of attacks, actually. If I can find it down here. 57 people have been killed, around 87 wounded in 570 airstrikes carried out by the U.S. and U.K. against Yemen since the start of the Western campaign. Huh? 570 airstrikes that we in Britain have been involved with. This is a trip. So yeah, major stuff going down in Yemen. The fight is happening. Argentina's Javier Milei going again to snub Biden on the 5th trip to the U.S. since becoming president. Bet you he goes talks to Trump, though. Don't you think? But he's not going to talk to Biden while he's here. He doesn't give a crap about that dude. Iran's newly elected president said his government will create balance in relations with all countries in line with national interests and the prerequisites for peace, but stressed to the United States that his country will not respond to pressure, which is kind of how we've typically rolled in the past, right? So that's good. MSNBC posted this. The jury in the Robert Menendez bribery trial has begun deliberations. This was, I believe, on Friday. This is interesting in that if he's guilty, I would assume this is going to affect his Senate seat. It's way late in the game, so nobody's going to be able to have a special election, and he's a Democrat, which I believe would alter the balance of power into the favor of the Republicans in the Senate. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Something's not going well for the deep state, is it? House Judiciary GOP, the committee just filed a motion for preliminary injunction to speed up the case against Department of Justice for withholding the audio tapes of Robert Hur's interview of Joe Biden. So again, they're immediately going to more of the legal options they have, like I was talking about this Friday, rather than just straight up trying to impeach or arrest Merrick Garland. There's other things they can do first. That may have to happen, but right now let's exhaust all avenues before we go down that path. Donald Trump truthed this out just to let you guys know. Peter Navarro, he's almost out of jail. He's got a new book coming out, The New MAGA Deal. For any of you guys that want to try to help support the man and learn from one of the masters, it's probably a good book. The New MAGA Deal coming out, so just thought I would go ahead and promote that. Apparently, there's a bad fire at what was it, like a processing plant for wood or something weird. It looks like, when I first saw it, of course, for any of you guys that follow me for any length of time, what did Dan see when he saw this image? You should be able to guess. Now, the fact that they were on fire bothered me a little bit. I've seen some pretty hot-looking breasts before in my life, but never ones that are smoking, per se. Needless to say, they're fighting a large industrial fire that broke out in an underground wood chip conveyor facility. Looks like these must be cooling places or something, because they look totally like reactor cooling domes. All said, 2 people of significance have died today, and maybe I'm pushing it a little bit with Shannon Doherty, Beverly Hills 90210 actress, dead at 53. Kind of a trip. Pretty young. I remember she was sort of cute at the time, that she got all jacked up looking, and who knows, she might have rolled up her sleeve too many times. The other person that shouldn't have died as early as they did, considering how healthy they were, Richard Simmons. Richard Simmons died. He would have turned 76 on Friday. He died just 24 hours after he thanked fans on social media for their birthday wishes. His death was first reported by TMZ. 76 years old. Guru Fitness. Grew up listening to this dude. He was obviously gay. It was funny when Howard Stern was trying to get him to admit that. The dude was definitely gay. But needless to say, I don't think he ever admitted it publicly. Would have been bad for his career, most likely. All things said, wild week is coming before us. We certainly have had some wild times just in the recent past. I think this is going to help motivate so many people, and I think that's what's important. We got to keep moving forward together, guys. That's the power of the where we go, one we go all. The power of that is what is changing the outcome. So when I say it, I don't say it lightly, and I don't say it loosely. I say it because I mean where any one of us goes, the rest of us follows, with the ripples, with everything. It's a bigger mess. It's a bigger noise. It's a bigger push than just one person ever. It's powerful. So where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.